Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brian Schnee. We are live in South Jordan with the update we were really wanting to share with you. If you've watched our show, you know we put a lot of information out there about missing persons within our community and the hopes of them being found to reunite with their families. We have an update on Elisa Petrov, who was missing for more than a month, almost 6 weeks' time, and we'll get to that right here on a special edition of Utah's Missing. Well, typically we share Utah's Missing on Wednesday nights, but a big update in a case that we have brought to you over and over and over again in the hopes that somebody's eyeballs spot 15-year-old Elisa Petrov, who has been found. She was located. Wasn't necessarily found, but located. Walked into a police department last night in Colorado Springs, Colorado, into a substation of the Colorado Springs Police Department, and now is in a safe place. Her family from this South Jordan neighborhood, we witnessed something really, really cool here just moments ago. Neighbors putting out ribbons for Elisa. These yellow ribbons are lined all throughout the neighborhood. This is the gateway, the entry point of this neighborhood. You can see them hung on poles and trees all the way up this neighborhood towards where Elisa lives. Neighbors telling me this is somewhat of a tradition. Her parents are in Colorado right now, and right at this point, probably close to reuniting with Elisa Petrov. Now today, I spoke with Elisa's aunt, Natalia. You may remember her from one of our earlier Utah's Missing segments. We spoke about her niece and how important it was to keep your eyes out for her. She told me this is the best possible scenario and how the entire community has supported her and her family. How did you find out that Elisa had been located?
My brother called me yesterday night and said that the police contacted him and said that Elisa was found.
What was it like for you to get that phone call after all this time?
Oh, this was just incredible. The best news ever. We were all so happy. I immediately told everybody that Elisa has been found. I know my children were extremely happy that this happened. Everybody just reacted so quickly, and it was incredible.
How do you describe the emotional roller coaster over the last 6 weeks for you and your family?
This was very stressful to go through, and I am extremely grateful for the community support that we've received. It was really great to see that people cared so much, and everybody wanted to help us find Elisa. We're so extremely grateful for everyone who prayed for her, for the news channels who helped us get the story out there to help us spread the word, for the police department that did such an amazing job at finding, helping her come back. We're very, very grateful.
Obviously, first and foremost, you're happy that Elisa's back, but do you still have questions about all the things that surrounds this whole thing?
Well, I would like to focus on Elisa, and I feel that it's very important for us to give the whole family a little privacy.
To hear that she just showed up at a police station, were you concerned about how she looked or if there were any issues or anything that went on? Because it's not close to you. It's not that close to Utah, right? It's kind of a unique place. So I'm assuming that may have been a place that nobody really expected.
Nobody expected her to be there. So I'm extremely happy that she's been located. It's really the best news ever. Mm-hmm.
Well, you and I had spoken a lot about some of the other things, and you messaged me as well. And we talked about the importance of, I mean, you're a mom, you have your kids.
Mm-hmm.
What should be the big takeaway for parents out of this? This was a good ending, and it could have ended up in a very different way, unfortunately, as we've heard with other situations.
Sure. Well, I really feel that it was an eye-opener for me as well to find out how many children have so many mental health issues, anxiety, depression, concerns, questions. And I really feel that for the future, parents really should emphasize emotional and aspect of their children's upbringing, and maybe there has to be a better support system emotionally.
Can you describe how Nikolai sounded on the phone last night when he called you?
Oh, he sounded incredibly happy. He was so joyed. This was really a great day for him. Mm-hmm.
What has it been like to talk to him on and off for the last 5 weeks about this?
It was stressful. We didn't know anything about Alisa's whereabouts. There were no even little signs of anything. So we really had no idea what's going on, and we were stressed. So I'm very glad that now we know.
These ribbons just placed in the neighborhood here in South Jordan about 15 minutes ago. So news of Alisa's safe recovery really bringing overwhelming relief and overwhelming joy at this point to a community that just had so much mixed emotions here. There were a number of adults that were walking the streets here, knocking on doors saying, hey, is it okay if I can put these ribbons out in front of your home? They line the entire street here in South Jordan. Ariel Harrison spoke with neighbors earlier today about what these past few weeks have been like.
There is now a sense of relief in this South Jordan neighborhood. What have the past 6 weeks been like in this community?
Heartbreaking. We never thought something like this would happen to a child in our neighborhood.
Melanie Jones lives near Alisa's family and knows the young girl and her parents well. News she was found safe has been overwhelming. You've been emotional. Why do you care so much?
I love this girl. She's my neighbor. She's close to my daughter's age. This could be my child.
Ever since Alisa's disappearance, Jones says the community rallied behind the family, posting flyers, checking in on the Petrovs, and most importantly, never losing faith.
It feels like a miracle, like it's everything we have prayed for.
Your message to Alisa today.
Alisa, we love you. We're so glad to have you back, and we've really missed you.
Neighbors tell me they want to thank South Jordan Police for taking Alisa's case so seriously, for the FBI's involvement, and also the relentless reporting that kept Alisa's face and name in the headlines. They hope that the family can take this time to heal now that Alisa has been found. Reporting in South Jordan, Ariel Harrison, KUTV 2 News.
Again, we're back out here live in South Jordan tonight, showing you some more of the support here from the community that were just put out on some of the light posts here over the last 15 or 20 minutes. So during the search for Alisa, many are wondering what was being done by law enforcement and other agencies involved. It's traditional in these investigations. They need to be tight-lipped to preserve the integrity of a lot of those investigations. Limi Kong Sufer with the executive director, the case managers, at the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. We spoke with her today. She won't speak exactly about this case. It's still very fluid with a number of people involved in this, but she did tell us the approach that the center takes when they are low on leads and low on information. Take a listen.
Essentially, when a child gets reported missing to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, then our staff members, they will provide resources depending on the nature of the case, and so they'll be talking to the parents or legal guardian, also to law enforcement to try to see if there's anything that the National Center can do in order to provide resources. It's a really highly emotional time for parents. They're frantic. Obviously they want everything done in terms of, trying to find the location of their child. So there are a number of different things. In addition to the poster resource, we do have resources for families who may need that additional emotional support. We have our family advocacy division. They provide services for families. Maybe they need some sort of, on-site crisis intervention service. We also have our team of volunteers called Team Hope. They are parents who have gone or are still going through a missing child incident or an exploited child incident. And so we provide those resources and services for parents, separate and aside from any support that we're providing by way of posters or any analytical reports that we might provide to law enforcement.
So we're back out here live in South Jordan tonight. Let's take a closer look at some of the men who are in custody related to this case. One of them actually having their initial court appearance today. That would be 35-year-old Matthew Menard of Miami, Florida. He was appearing virtually in a Utah County jail today in that courtroom. Now, records show that he was actually booked into the jail around 9 o'clock this morning. A waiver bail hearing is set for next Monday at 1 p.m. A few weeks ago, he surrendered himself to South Jordan police. Documents show that Menard communicated with Petrov before she left school. On April 21st, he's facing charges of aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor, enticement of a minor, and criminal solicitation. Now we have 41-year-old Samuel Mitchell from Harriman taken into custody last Wednesday. Authorities found several sexually explicit photos and videos of underage girls on his phone. And a review of Petrov's iPad revealed sexually explicit conversations that he had between her and Mitchell on a Discord app. Police say Mitchell had planned to meet Petrov before he got sick and he canceled. Mitchell is in the Salt Lake County Metro Jail facing several felony charges, including sexual exploitation of a minor. He had his initial appearance scheduled for this upcoming Wednesday at 10 a.m. 37-year-old William Glines of Texas City, Texas, also in custody related to all of this. He's facing the same charges as the man from Florida who had his initial appearance today. South Jordan investigators have been working with law enforcement in both Texas and in Florida. Coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, we speak to a former police chief to see what's next for the suspects in Elisa's disappearance and how they're related to this. Welcome back. We're live in South Jordan tonight. I'm Brian Schnee. We don't know much about what took place over the near 6 weeks from when Elisa Petrov was reported missing to when she was located last night in the state of Colorado. Police building their case against at least 3 men that had conversations with Elisa prior to her disappearance. It is not clear if they aided or abetted anything that had to do with her whereabouts. Earlier today, we spoke to retired Deputy Police Chief Chris Bertram to see what happens next.
So right now, the last thing we've heard from the family is that they're traveling to Colorado Springs. We don't know if they're driving or flying, but as last checked just a few minutes ago, they hadn't been reunited. Does that surprise you, how this is working out?
Yeah, I'm surprised that they haven't been in contact with her. Maybe their flights were delayed or they were in fact driving over, which is probably an 8 to 9 hour drive. But, typically when you find, somebody, you want to get them back with family. Since it was late last night, I imagine that this morning they would have been flying out, making contact midday, and then potentially flying back tonight and being back in Utah.
Right now, I think there's a lot of questions about what have happened in the last 6 weeks. The last time she was seen was in Provo on the track station there. Colorado Springs is more than 500 miles away. She's just 15 years old. How did she get there? What has she been doing all this time? And could she possibly been held against her will? What's happening with the investigation right now that we're not seeing or hearing about?
They're definitely going to be determining if this was voluntary or involuntary. Both directions are going to have to be investigated because we want to know, from a law enforcement standpoint, where she went from Utah, where she went then after that, then what happened, and how did she end up in Colorado Springs? If it's involuntary, it makes the investigation even more important because we want to identify who may be involved in that and make sure that we get them in custody as quickly as possible so we have no other victims. And so, again, both investigations are complex. Even if this is voluntary, we want to know who she was with, where she went. Was she the victim of a crime while she was there, and then what led her to Colorado Springs?
I would assume, too, that if she weren't surviving on her own and sleeping at a park, that if she were with someone at their house, having a minor child, there's got to be some kind of crime involved there.
Quite possibly. But again, thinking that this is a 15-year-old who, may be able to convince adults of a reasonable story, they may be unwitting in those cases. And so they may be just offering help, to a young child as they're moving around. However, if they became aware of who she was and the status of what was going on, that would be then a crime at that point.
We do know connected this case, 3 men, one from Utah, another from Texas, and one from Florida are charged in this case. I noticed that Matthew Menard from Miami, Florida, turned himself into the South Jordan City Police Department on the charges that he's facing. But he's now in the Utah County Jail. Is there a reason why that would be happening, where maybe they're trying to keep him separate from the other suspect that might be in Salt Lake County, or is this just something random?
No, 2 reasons. Jurisdiction, they may have, based on her contact while she was in Utah County, decided that that's the court of jurisdiction. At the same time, we do have multiple suspects that are going to be in Utah. And you don't necessarily want to keep them in the same county jails. And so a lot of times they're located somewhere else so that they're not in contact with each other.
It's been a state divided with some showers and thunderstorms down in southern Utah, and we really need the rain, so this is fantastic. Not everyone's seeing it, but a heavy downpour earlier today in the city of Washington, just east of St. George. And the airport in southern Utah at St. George recording almost a ½ inch of rain, so a pretty decent day when it comes to moisture down in southern Utah. Drier air has moved into northern Utah, so yes, we've cooled down, but no rain. Highs today in the 70s and 80s, and that's about 15 degrees cooler than yesterday, so hopefully everyone enjoyed the cool down. Remember, yesterday we broke a record at 96 degrees in Salt Lake City. Now, our rain chances along the Wasatch Front, they're very low, but they do go up a bit by the end of the week. Friday, there might be a stray thunderstorm. I still wouldn't change any outdoor plans. A little bit of moisture is going to be sneaking into northern Utah. In the meantime, though, the storm system, that's been coming from the southwest has been tapping into tropical moisture. Storms have been moving north to south. This will likely continue through the evening, and then things will wind down later tonight. And then another little storm is going to be moving in, and that will likely be impacting portions of the state, especially southern Utah, by Wednesday. And we'll see a pretty decent chance for more of these scattered showers and thunderstorms. So tonight we are in the clear here in northern Utah, though. though, but notice still a few lingering showers in southeastern and southwestern Utah. By about 10 o'clock to midnight, most of these showers should be falling apart, and we'll still see a little bit of cloud cover down in southern Utah, but pretty quiet after midnight. Tomorrow morning, you should be just fine. If you're at some of those state and national parks, you don't have to really worry about flash flooding until the afternoon. There could be an isolated thunderstorm that could produce a little bit of flash flooding, but those storm chances are pretty isolated and hit or miss, at least for tomorrow. But they really pick back up, though, on Wednesday. A little bit more moisture to work with, and as that storm begins to move in from the west, we'll see more of these scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially near and south of I-70 as northern Utah stays dry for your Wednesday. Flash flood potential is not high, but it is there at all of our state parks, national parks, and recreation areas. From Arches to Zion, it is a possibility for tomorrow and on Wednesday. Then some drier air begins to move in by the end of the week. So you don't have to really worry about that risk for flash flooding, but it's those slot canyons, those normally dry washes, rivers, and creeks, they could run high if a storm is nearby. Look at the temperatures, though, for tomorrow. It is going to be spectacular. We're going to be in the mid-70s, which is a few degrees below normal. Get out there and enjoy it. Get some yard work done. 66 in Park City, 64 in Evanston. Still pretty warm, though, down in southern Utah with highs in the 80s and 90s. St. George, you're going to go from the 90s tomorrow into the 80s, which is below normal. Good chance for that rain on Wednesday. Could see a stray thunderstorm on Thursday, and then we are drying things out and getting hot. By Sunday, temperatures are back into the triple digits down in St. George. Salt Lake, how about 54 degrees tonight? We're in the 70s for the next couple days, and then we're warming up by the end of the week and into the weekend. 80s on Saturday, 90s are back beginning on Sunday.
We're back out here live to wrap things up in South Jordan tonight. Thanks for watching Arc Salt Lake, this special edition, if you will, of Utah's Missing, which primarily airs on Wednesday nights. The positive update that we're able to share with you tonight is that of really good news for this community. 15-year-old Elisa Petrov, located last night, able to bring herself to a substation of a police department in Colorado Springs after being reported missing out of Provo back in April. That was on the 21st. Thanks for watching the program tonight. Utah's Missing airs at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays on Arc Salt Lake. We'll see you tomorrow night.